Welcome to West New York at Work. And today we're starting a new monthly series with the Kaizen Institute. And today we have Mr. Chris Stoddart, the Managing Director and Partner of the Kaizen Institute. Good morning, Buffalo, and welcome to Western New York at Work. And we have another exciting show. In fact, this morning, we are starting a new monthly series, and we are so proud to be a part of the Kaizen Institute and a gentleman who makes it happen himself. And I'm talking about the one and only Mr. Chris Stoddart, the Managing Director and Partner with the Kaizen Institute. Chris, welcome to West New York at Work and our new development show, Thriving in Western New York.
Thank you, Dale. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited about the show, the opportunity to present Kaizen Institute to the local market, to the Buffalo and Western New York market, and I'm excited to be part of the show.
Okay, great. Well, you are a very intricate part of the show, and that's going to be viewed each and every month by our audience. That being said, can you talk a little bit about yourself, and then let's kind of do a deep dive in exactly the type of works that the Kaizen Institute does.
I've been engaged or involved with continuous improvement in some fashion for the bulk of my career. So going on roughly 30 years in the workforce, and most of that having been spent as a consultant. I've been working on close to 20 years consulting in the field of Kaizen and Lean. Prior to that, held progressive roles in leadership positions, also deploying lean or continuous improvement into organizations.
Kaizen has been around since 1985. A global organization in over 6 continents and 60 countries. And you have a very broad perspective of organizations or industries that you've worked in, 45 plus. So, there's a lot more there.
There's a lot there. Yeah. We are, a global organization. We have a global footprint. It allows us to deploy a one approach, a one Kaizen, into a multinational corporation or organization that has locations around the world. So we have the ability to work in the local market, understanding the local culture, speaking the local languages, yet still deploying one approach, which is, in our world, it's the Kaizen business system.
I like that phrase, one approach. You could have set up roots in any other state across America, but you chose Western New York. Why is that the case?
Western New York. Well, I'm here in part because of my marriage. Being married to my wife, who is local here to Western.
Or you have to go where she is.
I have to go where she is, yeah. But we choose to be here. Looking at the New York business and again, I manage the New York business itself. And we have an opportunity to set up shop anywhere within the state. But it's exciting for me to be here in Buffalo itself. Having grown up north of the border in Southern Ontario, spent many trips either coming through or to Buffalo, and never really understood what Buffalo was about until I moved here. And now that I've had a chance to see, maybe peek behind the curtains a little bit and get to know the people, get to know, the Buffalo culture and what makes Buffalo unique, I don't want or couldn't imagine having the office anywhere else within the state. I'm excited for it to be here. We're here for the long haul. The office will stay here, headquartered out of Buffalo, and I'm excited to be, a very effective part, a positive part of the local economy.
Okay, great. Well, that's certainly Western New York is certainly happy to have you here. But let's talk about Kaizen and the types of services that the Kaizen Institute provides.
Sure. I'd say, primarily we are a consulting first company. Our objective is to support organizations in a transformational journey. So that foundation is built on what we can bring to an organization working on site with the leaders in the business, working on site with the change leaders in the organization, and bringing transformational type actions or activities to the organization. But in addition to that, we also have a platform where we provide public education or public training. So we have a number of modules that we train in a public format, which includes also a pathway through belt certification, from yellow belt certification to green, and right through to black belt certification. So most of our work, yes, is client related, client on site with clients, but we do also provide public training.
I think that's absolutely outstanding that you provide that type of training. And for individuals that are any business owner that's watching today's show, they may have heard about green belt or yellow belt, green belt, black belt. Can you share just a little bit of a description about each one of those certifications, or at least one or two?
Yeah, it's really around the intent or the use of the belt certification itself. So if your goal is to become aware of some of the tools within Kaizen, you're going to take the yellow belt certification, which gives you some information into some of the baseline introductory type tools and activities that we utilize within an organization. And then if you want to progress further to a leadership type role within a CI role within an organization, or enhance your current role, then you're going to progress through the green and then up to the black. The black belt really provides you with the project work, the training, the coaching that gets you to a place where you'd feel comfortable being a change leader in an organization.
I want to kind of pivot to another direction. Kaizen stands for something.
Yes.
And if you could be so kind as to break that down.
Sure. Well, the word Kaizen is broken up into Kai and Zen. So Kai meaning change, and Zen for the better. So it isn't about just change for change's sake. What it really is about bringing positive cultural process-related changes to an organization. And ultimately, those process changes help to determine the culture that we have, which is a set of behaviors. And if we're looking to modify the culture and adjust the behaviors within the organization, then we need to look at how we bring positive change to the business. In North America, we tend to use the word lean, and they're interchangeable in terms of continuous improvement.
You mentioned the word change. We are dealing with some very challenging times in this post-COVID-19 environment. And so many organizations are going to be asking themselves, how do we pivot? How do we hit the reset button? How do we reinvent ourselves? Can Kaizen play a role in that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to understand where you are right now relative to the change or the impact that COVID-19 has had on your business. For some, there's been a boom. For anyone that's involved in online retail, that's seen an increase in volume, as opposed to some businesses that are struggling because they've seen a decline, or maybe even had to temporarily close up shop. But regardless of what situation you're in, you need to objectively analyze, where are you relative to where you need to be or want to be. And so for an organization that had a strategic vision or has one, that maybe has changed now. So there needs to be, as you said, a pivot, a short-term pivot to get the business back on track. But if you have structure in your organization and you trust that structure, regardless of where you are today, you can default back to it. So what we want to avoid is that we drift back or move back into that comfort zone, that comfort mindset that we've had historically, and we default to pre-existing behaviors as leaders, pre-existing behaviors as businesses. That we want to trust the process. And if we bring structure to our business in terms of a business system, then we simply have to ask the question, what is the right pathway? What's the right tool set? What's the right system to default to help us to get to where we need? And if we lack that, then we're going to be making decisions that may not be in the interest of our company long term. We may be making short-term decisions that have an extremely negative impact long term.
And I'm pretty sure you're listening and you're talking to business owners and C-level individuals across New York State. Is there anything that in particular that you're hearing from them that keeping them up at night, but you're reassuring them how Kaizen Institute can be a solution or start to be the problem solver?
Well, there are significant challenges right now. If it's workforce challenges, so a company that has had to unfortunately reduce workforce during the pandemic, and now ramping up because business has somewhat returned to their pre-COVID condition. There's challenges there, whether they can retain the workforce or have to bring new employees in. When you bring new employees in, there's a change. There's a shift from being productive as a work environment to now we have to onboard, we have to train, we have to get everyone to a place where they can perform the tasks so that they can produce a consistent output, a quality output. So there are those challenges. There are obviously financial challenges, but the response again is the same. We have to step back. We have to look at the business performance, look at the goals, and set a strategy moving forward and default back to the business system. And we also have customers. We have clients right now that are experiencing a boom. And although that is a positive challenge to have, it still is a challenge nonetheless. And ensuring that whatever increase in businesses come their way is done so in a profitable way. It's not just a reaction to we must do more, we must react to the condition. It's to step back again and develop a plan so that growth that they're seeing is positive, has a positive impact on the workforce, has a positive impact on the business, and has a positive impact on cash flow. Not just work for the sake of having work.
You're watching Western New York at Work. We're about to take a short break. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you on the other side.
Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals.
Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.
I love New York. We love New York.
We've been stuck inside our homes,
while our everyday heroes have been working overtime.
For New York to reopen
and stay open.
We all need to do our part.
And show that we care.
Look, man.
I wear a mask to protect you.
You wear a mask to protect me.
Let's all wear a mask
to stop the spread of coronavirus
and save lives.
When we show up in the mask,
we're showing up for each other.
Show your love for New York.
Because New York loves you.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Lewis with Western New York at Work and a partner at Staff Buffalo. And I wanted to come and say hi to everyone today to talk about career tips. Now, I know we're all in a very uncertain time and maybe you're not sure about what the future holds for you for your job, but this is a really good time since many of us are at home and working from home every day to kind of maybe do some things that you thought you wanted to do in the past. Is set goals for yourself. It's easy to kind of fall into a normal routine while we're all working remotely, but you can set goals for yourself. If you're looking for a new job, research companies you're interested in, and then, say you want to do it by Wednesday and get that done. Set those goals. Set the goal to update your resume. Set the goal to update your LinkedIn. Set the goal to complete that project that maybe you wanted to do at some point, but you're too busy. You were too busy commuting to work, getting your kids to and from school and activities. And now is a great time to kind of take those projects that you had planned to do and actually do. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, that's Lauren Lewis with Staff Buffalo, and you can always look up Staff Buffalo at staffbuffalo.com or email me at llewis@staffbuffalo.com. Hope you found it helpful.
Welcome back to Western New York at Work with Dale Martin and Chris Stoddart with the Kaizen Institute. Chris, I'm gonna tell you, I am so excited, for our partnership. And in some cases, I feel like I'm back in college. But there's I'll just go right to it. Gemba.
Yeah.
What is Gemba and why is it important?
Well, Gemba is the place where the work is done. It's where the value is added to the product or service that we create for our customers. And it's critically important that when we make decisions from a business perspective, that we understand what's going on at Gemba, and how many conversations take place in a boardroom where we make a decision in terms of how the work will be done, the way it'll be done, what the outputs will look like, the equipment we may purchase, the infrastructure we may add, without actually visiting Gemba and finding out for yourself what's actually going on. So we need to see it with our own eyes. We need to learn. We need to learn how to observe and understand clearly what's actually going on in the workplace. And so that Gemba could be a variety of places. Again, it's where the work or the value is being added.
What do you say to the organization that is really realizing now that they're going through a cultural change? The way they used to operate last week, last month, 3 months ago is out the window?
Well, I guess the first question would be, we'd have to find out, is it a positive change in culture or a negative change in culture? So if we've seen a positive movement where the workforce is maybe more engaged now, that's a great place to be, because when you're looking at introducing change, structural change into an organization, it can be challenging in certain circumstances. But if you have a culture that's ready for it, and maybe there are companies that are there right now because of what's been happening, that the workforce is ready. If you're experiencing something that's less than positive, then we have to bring in the methodology and start to engage the workforce in positive change. Now, what does that mean? It means the frontline workers, or those that actually do the work, having a voice in how they do what they do, right? And so we hear often that people are resistant to change. I don't believe that. We've changed a lot as humans over time. What I do believe, though, is that people are resistant to having change imposed upon them. So if I'm engaged in the change itself and helping to understand the impact that I have on the work, the impact I have on my internal coworkers, my internal customers, and ultimately the external customer, if I can better understand that and then be part of the improvement process so that we can improve what we do that meets the needs of all, the voice of the customer, the voice of the business, and the voice of the employee, then that's a different condition. So it's not a change I'm likely to resist when I'm part of the solution.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you said that, because one of my biggest takeaways that I'm hearing that you say, we're talking about if you're in business, you want to remain relevant, you want to be competitive, you want to find out what's working in your business and what's not working in your business, and that's what you help organizations do on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, we tend to focus on the negative, which is the part that isn't working. But you're right. We also need to pay attention to what is working and look for ways to replicate that and learn from that. And how do we take a greater benefit from that positive condition and apply it across the organization? So there's a learning there. But typically, when we're working with companies, we're looking at more the negative side. What isn't effective or as effective as it could be, trying to drive improvements. So it's critically important that we spend time. Considerable amount of time. And in fact, in some of our activities, half of the time we spend is analyzing the condition so that we can thoroughly understand. A problem well understood is half solved. So we have to be diligent. We have to be patient. We have to take the time to bring the relevant information to the surface, to see it with our eyes, to have the right data points, the right information, so that we can make good decisions going forward.
Yes, and Western New York has a very unique and I'll say a very robust economy. We have various industries that, across the board, whether it be agriculture, manufacturing, pharmaceutical industries. And, in my opinion, I think that the Kaizen Institute has an opportunity to really develop a marriage or relationship, partnership with those types of industries. Is that a correct assessment?
Well, that's certainly the goal. We certainly want to be part of the solution. We want to be part of the environment, the business environment within Buffalo. It's interesting because when I drive around the city and I spend a lot of time, I'm a bit of a history buff, and there's so many parts of the city that I look at and I wonder, how did the city get to this point? And how did the city move away from what was clearly an age of economic boom, an age of economic growth, and what was going on in the city? And when I drive around, I'm searching for the identity. What is that business identity within Buffalo? And it's varied. There isn't any one thing that I can look to. Certainly the banking industry is strong here. There's a manufacturing sector that has some strength here. There's the tourism side. There's the hospitality side that does well. And I think that's one of the exciting things about being here, is that the opportunity for growth within the city is available to many sectors. So the proximity to the Canadian border for trade, the proximity to obviously the I-90 for transportation, the availability of people or individuals in the local market to fill these roles as businesses continue to grow. The presence of higher education here in the city. I think it's really exciting to be here.
It really is, and I'm so happy to hear that you pointed that out, because I think we are now in the right position to talk about a new business perspective. And so, Buffalo, you're listening to Western New York at Work. with Dale Martin and Chris Stoddart. Don't go anywhere, because on the other side of this break, Chris is going to share with us a new best practice.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to today's show with Dale Martin and Chris Stoddart. And before the break, we talked about best practices. And Chris, I know that the Kaizen Institute has worked with some major organizations, some global organizations, in fact. For example, BMW, Bosch, Siemens. And I mean, those are just organizations that have really had a footprint in their particular, sectors and industries that they represent.
Yeah, that's true, Dale. It's very true. Yeah, we've been very fortunate as an organization to work with large, recognizable brands, global brands. But that's not exactly all of what we do as a company. These large, recognizable brands make up a very, very small percentage of the total suppliers of goods and services and information. So we work at both the global level and the local level, and I think that's that's one of the, call it an advantage, maybe a business advantage. And, you reference best practice, but the ability or the capability that we have as an organization to take a system, a business system that we consider to be the foundation of a best practice inside of an organization, which is a change model. So I mentioned KBS or the Kaizen business system before, but inside of that is something very specific, kind of the nuts and bolts in terms of how we bring change into an organization, how we manage it, how we stabilize it. And it's called the Kaizen Change Model, or KCM. And it's so important. I think one of the learnings certainly that I've had over the years is that we spend a lot of time focusing on the change at the front line, the work that's done, the transformation of materials or transforming of materials or information. And we've maybe had some failures in the past where we haven't spent enough time working with the leadership team and getting them to a place where they can support and lead the change initiative. And it's different from managing. And we make that very clear that leading a change initiative is different than managing one. And so kind of historically, it's been, let's get in there, let's drive an improvement, let's validate, verify the improvement, hand it back off to the business, and almost hope that, things go well. And that's not a business system. That's not a system that's set up for success.
Chris, let's face it, companies are we're in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Okay, the fourth quarter of the football game, the fourth quarter of this fiscal year. And so, and many organizations have hit the panic button, and they need to reposition themselves in order to survive moving forward.
Sure.
Is there a sense of urgency that you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's definitely we used to call it a burning platform. And we used to say that organizations typically don't engage in a change initiative unless there's a burning platform. And so for a company that thinks that everything is great, there's no need to change, right? Why do I need to change? I'm perfect, right? But the reality is everybody has a burning platform right now. There isn't an organization out there that doesn't have one. And if you can't see it, give us a call and we'll help you to see it because it exists. Again, whether it's positive or negative, it exists. So yeah, a lot of companies are in, as you referred, the fourth quarter. And so breakthrough events would be critical to getting the business on track. But we need to understand that if we don't stabilize the culture, stabilize the work environment, that breakthrough initiative may not sustain. It may not sustain itself. So we need to make sure that we as a business are in control of the change so that whatever benefit we get from the improvement, it's ours to keep. You're not giving it back, right?
Yes. Hey, and you brought up several important parts. So for any organization, business leader, that's looking to find out more information, where do we want to direct them to?
We want to direct them to the website, Kaizen.com. That website itself has a lot of information. You can learn about Kaizen, its Kaizen activities, Kaizen itself. You can see some case studies, what's going on in different sectors, a variety of sectors. And there's a lot of information there. And you can also connect with us through Kaizen.com.
Okay, and will that bring them to the local Buffalo, New York level?
Yeah, if you want to reach out to us directly,
yes.
The best way to connect with us is via email at us-ny@kaizen.com. That's the best way to reach us.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's so important, because even though the Kaizen Institute is on a global level, our constituents, our clients are on a local level.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part of the show for me. When we first started talking about this, I got real excited, at the prospect of meeting local leaders. Again, I'm new to the area. I'm very excited to be here. I choose to be here, and I'm excited to kind of understand better, what's going on. And often, the news cycle focuses on the not so positive part of what's happening. But this show is going to be all about speaking to local business leaders who are seeing positivity in their business, positive impact in the communities, positive impact on the workforce. And we want to highlight that. We want to find out what's going so well, why is it going so well, what are your future plans, and really get the local environment excited about what's going on here in Western New York.
Well, I'll tell you, that excitement is something that I embrace. You and I together in our partnership, we are about to be the new pulse and the heartbeat of how business operates, and really provide that checkup, that analysis of where they want to go and how they want to take their business moving forward. And I love that thriving in West New York, but you have to get there. You have to have a plan. Okay, you can take the bus, the train, or you can take the Kaizen Institute way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any parting thoughts?
No, just thank you so much, Dale. Thank you for having me on. This is our first episode together. As we've been talking, super excited about this. Can't wait to meet and get to know the local leaders within Western New York, and onward and upward.
And that's what it's all about. Okay, thriving in Western New York. And each and every month, we're talking to business leaders to help them grow their business. Can't wait to see you next month.
Thanks, Dale.
Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals.
Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.